Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin morning program on KSJE.
My guest in the studio with me this morning as we celebrate tomorrow's first day of the spring semester here at San Juan College. Back for her regular conversation with me, Dr. Toni Pendergrass is here, the president of San Juan College. Dr. Pendergrass, welcome back to KSJE.
Thank you, Scott. It's great to be here.
Good to have you here. And as I mentioned, the semester gets started tomorrow. Today, of course, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so the campus is closed. But tomorrow, things will be hustling and bustling around here as students return to campus, and everybody ready for a good second half of the 2025-2026 academic year, it sounds like.
Yes, we're definitely ready for 2026.
Very, very good. You were telling me enrollment-wise in the fall, enrollment was up here at San Juan College by a little over 5% of students, yes?
Yes, and we're very excited. Last year, our total enrollment increase was like 5.8%, and this year for fall, we're already up another 5%, 5.15 actually.
Very good. Does that trend with other higher education institutions in the country, or are we bucking the trend? Are enrollments up across the board?
I do think that enrollment's up overall in New Mexico. I think we're a little bit higher than some of our sister institutions, but we're really proud of the increase. And I think part of that is due to what's occurring with the Opportunity Scholarship throughout the state. I think it's moved us up quite a bit in enrollment rankings.
Right. The state is making it very, I think, easy to go to higher education, go on to college for residents of New Mexico.
Yes, all of our trustees and regents throughout the state are very serious about keeping college affordable in New Mexico. In fact, it has one of the highest ROIs in the nation, if not the highest. It's always in the top 2 or 3 for ROIs, and then the Opportunity Scholarship, which has been a governor initiative, and the legislature's initiative has made it affordable for every citizen here in New Mexico.
Very good. And so it sounds like folks are taking advantage of that.
Absolutely.
And San Juan College is here to fill that need.
Exactly. We want to help everyone.
Yeah, very good. Well, I wanted to ask you, as I do, a couple of things about what you covered at our convocation, the campus-wide kind of all-hands-on-deck meeting to kind of get things started for the new semester and share some of the accomplishments and things that the college has been doing over the last few years, as you and I have talked about. And so I pulled a few of the slides that you had from your presentation, and so I wanted to share that with some of our listeners and viewers this morning. But here's one about pathways, and we talked a lot about that, of different pathways for students who are coming here and what areas of study they want to get a degree in, or at least take classes in, and things like that. And so it's a bit of a busy graphic, but there's a lot of, I think, green on there, which is a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. So we have what's called our leading indicators and our lagging indicators. And our leading indicators help lead us to the lagging, which is better outcomes for our students and our community. So it's really important that we do a good job with these leading indicators. And there's a total of 10 on this chart that we have, and 9 out of the 10 we had increases this past year. And out of the 10 leading indicators, we already met the targets for our 5-year plan, which won't conclude until 2027. So we've already met 5 of those 10 targets. Most of the indicators where we've had increases have to do with making sure students complete both college level English and college level math their first year. We know that students are much more likely to graduate from college if they complete those 2 courses within their first year. So there's a big emphasis on that. And then the other indicators primarily have to do with momentum. So making sure students have certain momentum points at 6 credit hours, 12 credit hours, 15, 30, and so forth. And if we can get students to those points, they're more, they'll build that momentum, so to speak. One thing I mentioned at Convocation last week is that there's been some national studies done, and if we can get students to complete at least 15 credit hours, they're much more likely to not utilize social services. So the societal costs are much reduced if we can get students to at least take 15 credit hours. Of course, we want them to earn a certificate or degree, but that's a really pivotal point for students across the nation.
So all these things that we're seeing on the screen for folks who are watching us on video are all part of these, and I guess the phrase is that data-driven decisions that are made in many levels, I think, at any institution, right, of why we do what we do and why we do it the way we do it, based on a lot of the data that we're looking at on this chart?
Yes, these are our key performance indicators that are kind of the cornerstone of our 5-year plan that's set by our Board of Trustees. And this is how we measure our effectiveness each year. We have all of our annual objectives. These key performance indicators really let us know is what we're doing helping our students and our community.
Got you. And you mentioned, of course, again, the college currently meeting or exceeding 5 of those 10 targets that you're looking for.
Yes.
And some of the other ones, I'm looking at the chart here, and some of these, 2 of these targets are pretty high at 80%, 85% for 3 of them. And so, and it looks like the college is coming pretty close, at least for a couple of these. Well, all of them, right? 85% is the target, and we're at 82 in one, 80 for 2 more, and we're at 72 and 75% for the others. So we're in striking distance, I would say, of these targets.
Absolutely. We've met 5 of the 10 already in our 5-year plan, but we had increases in 9 of the 10.
Right. So again, congratulations. I think a lot of work by a lot of people here on campus to get to this point.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
moving in that direction.
Exactly.
So very good. Thank you. Well, thank you for explaining that, because when I saw that, I was like, I have to ask you about that and help me understand what we're looking at, but that would make sense. Here's another graphic here, kind of same type of thing, correct?
Yes, there's 11 indicators. These are the lagging, but these are the general outcomes that you want for students. So you want them to be retained, you want them to graduate, and then you want them to be employed in a very good job. And we look at all of our students full and part-time with these metrics, and then we look at our minority populations, because we don't want there to be any gaps in success with these strategic planning key performance indicators. And on this chart, we had increases in 10 of the 11 this last year, and with our targets, we met already in our 5-year strategic plan, we've already met 7 of the 11 targets. And so, for example, retention increased, our graduation and transfer rate increase. One that I'm really proud of that we didn't quite hit the target on, though, is our employment. Mm-hmm. So these are students that have graduated, transferred, joined the military, or maybe they're still going to school, but that's at 89%. And our target's 90.
Yeah, you're really close.
Right.
And again, that target is recommended to be achieved by just next year, so you're really close to be able to do that.
Yeah, we hope to.
Very good. And from what you said before, too, from what I understand, it sounds like to me any student who shows up at the door here at San Juan College, no matter their ethnicity or their socioeconomic status or what have you, you want the same outcomes for any of those students, all of those students.
Yes, all. We want all students to be successful.
No matter.
One of our strategic directions, number 4, is about that. Anyone that is a student, we want them to be successful.
Right. And that's another, I think, just a unique thing about community colleges, too, is because there really aren't any entrance requirements necessarily, whereas some private institutions, right, you have to apply, and maybe you get in, maybe you don't. But I think San Juan College tries to get everybody in that wants to come here to take a class.
Absolutely.
Or to get an education.
We accept 100% of the graduating classes.
Right. And so, again, to work with that 100% to make sure they all succeed is a big net and a big boost, I think, to all the students that show up.
Absolutely.
and to have those resources here to help each and every one, no matter their circumstances.
Exactly.
So thank you. Thank you for explaining that to us, too. Here is the Graduate Challenge, and I know we've talked about this in the past because I've been amazed since I think this started that the college has kind of done better than the goal every year. As you can see, those purple lines on this graph, and the goal is the golden lines, bars, but it shows that that is continuing.
Yes, and this was actually a presidential initiative. So when Obama was the president, he challenged all colleges and universities in the nation to increase their number of graduates by 50% in 10 years. And so we rose to the challenge, and we developed a 5% annual increase goal. So over 10 years, that would be a 50% increase. We've actually increased the number of graduates each and every year for the past 15 years. And so our annual increase has actually been 6% per year. So this next year, our goal is to have 1,500 graduates over the course of the academic year. And we're hopeful, we hope that we hit that goal.
Well, and it looks like for 2025, we're at 1,556.
Yes.
So,
but it's definitely a stretch goal. We work
Right.
hard.
True. Very true. But that's great to see. This goes all the way back to 2010, then, from what you're talking about, when President Obama was in office and made this challenge to not just San Juan College, but I guess institutions of higher education nationwide.
Yes,
to meet this
absolutely.
goal. And so I would imagine that not every school is performing as well as San Juan College is in a chart like this. Or what do you think? I know you only worry about these numbers because you're
Well,
the president.
I primarily
Yes.
just pay attention to San Juan College, but we're very proud of these results.
Gotcha. Very good. Okay, fair enough. The other note that I thought was interesting is you were sharing this, that Farmington, the metro area, was ranked the number one in job growth for small metropolitan areas nationwide.
Yes, from June 2024 to June 2025. And this is something that the city of Farmington shared with us, and I thought it was worth noting and to share with all of our employees at Convocation last week. And we haven't personally drilled down to see exactly where the job growth was, but I know the mayor had mentioned that a lot of it was construction jobs, but we're really proud of the fact that our entire community has come together and we are having results like this.
Right. Well, that seems to tell me a bit about the economy locally and how maybe strong it is or resilient, and that maybe there's some other issues, but that at least for job growth, it seems to be doing well in
Yes.
certain sectors, as you said.
Exactly.
So that's great to share. Very good. Very exciting. And then here is another note about states with the best and worst community colleges. We are on the best list, which is good to know. And talk to me about this statistic.
Yes, so this is a report that comes out every year by Wallet Hub, and it's a national company that helps individuals improve their credit scores. But they do an analysis with several different metrics, affordability and finances and all sorts of things, and they rank community colleges nationally. And out of the entire nation, the state of New Mexico was ranked number 2 in the nation for community college systems. And then we were ranked, San Juan College was ranked 25th out of over 650 colleges in their study. So if you do the math, we're in the top 3.8% of community colleges in the nation according to their study.
Gotcha. And they're looking at things like the types of classes that are offered, I suppose, and affordability and things like that. Are that some of the things that they're looking at, do you think?
Yes, they look at several metrics.
Right, but that's exciting. And so again, kudos to New Mexico, because we don't always land at the top of these lists when it comes to education, but for community colleges we have, and so that's nice to share.
Yes, and it's important to remind people that we're doing well in higher education in the state of New Mexico.
Right, indeed. Very good. Now, the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, this was the kind of overarching theme at Convocation, a bit of an Asian influence, and this is TAO. It's pronounced, you taught me, DAO, and you have it standing for Team Aspirational Outcomes. And you've got folks here at San Juan College, a lot of folks. I was kind of surprised to see just how many employees were part of these different committees that are working on these different areas, right? For the college to give reports at our convocation about the different things that we're working on. Here's a list, as you can see on this graphic, from adult learners, employment and transfer, first year experience, dual credit, gateway courses, and institutional gaps. And so I wanted to just spend a few minutes asking you about these and how they fit into the overall picture here at San Juan College. I think some of them are self-explanatory, but there could also be some insights that you can provide. Like with adult learners, we know the college has a very vast encore program and things like that, but it's to make sure that adults who want to come back to college are welcomed and have the resources that they need to, as opposed to the traditional college student.
Yes, absolutely. So we know nationwide that individuals are having less children. So they're calling what it's called, which should hit starting this year, some into next year, at what they call an enrollment cliff. And so we will have less students graduating from high school.
Right.
And
who would
lower
traditionally maybe go on to college. Yeah.
And so it's vital that we really talk to our adult populations and make sure that we're still pulling enrollment from those populations and that they are successful as well.
Got you. And so the team that was working on this, they're looking at different ways to, I guess, to do just as you described then, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so they will, they're looking at making sure that we have extended hours and that we're available after 5 o'clock. We also have classroom or classes in the evening or on weekends and accelerated programs that allow individuals to complete certificates and degrees in non-traditional formats.
Got you. So if these adults have 9 to 5 jobs, so to say, Monday through Friday, they can maybe come and take a class after work on the weekends, maybe not have to spend 16 weeks here on campus, maybe only 8.
Right, exactly.
And be able to complete those credentials or whatever they're coming here for.
Yes, there's been a lot of research on 8-week courses, and that if students only have to take a couple classes at a time, like 2 in the first 8 weeks, 2 in the second 8 weeks, they are much more successful because, all of us, we're balancing, caring for parents, our children, our jobs, everything else.
Right,
and
right.
this just, if you only have 2 classes, you're not trying to balance 4 things.
True. Very
4
true.
classes.
Got it. So that was what this team is working on and making sure that the college is providing these things, I guess, for these adult learners
Yes.
that want to come here. Employment and transfer, that's a little bit about, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, getting employment after they get their degree or certificate, what they're coming here for, or maybe transferring their credits to another, maybe like a 4-year institution. Is that the idea?
Yes. So our first strategic direction really has to do with partnerships, so partnerships with K-12, universities, and our employer partners. So, and then our second strategic direction of the 5 has to do with making sure we get students into meaningful family-sustaining jobs. So with the first strategic direction on transfer, we really try and work with our universities to make sure it's a seamless process and that all of the students' credits transfer. With the second strategic direction, we've been blessed by the state of New Mexico and our local legislative delegation and the legislature, and they've provided us $1.7 million per year. And so we've worked with over 100 of our employers in the community who are hiring interns. So they pay them, but then we reimburse them $15 to $20 an hour per student, depending on the position, for up to 20 hours a week. So if you're an employer and you would like to have interns and be reimbursed for the work that they do for you, please don't hesitate to contact Jill Bishop in our Career Center or anyone at San Juan College, and we'll get you
Right.
pointed in the right direction.
True. But what a great program to be able to have these businesses to maybe train their own or find someone in the community that already lives here and is interested in their line of work or whatever they're doing and be able to bring them on and train them the way you want them to be trained and maybe have that work into a part-time or full-time position once they complete their studies here.
Yes, we tell students
And for free. Pardon me for interrupting.
Yes, for free. Yeah, exactly. And we tell students that this is a 90-day interview.
Yeah.
And so they have a real opportunity to get their foot in the door.
Indeed, very true. And again, for these employers too, to be able to get some people here to train and again be reimbursed for the cost of that worker.
Yes, and we've had this amazing response from our community, and we had over 700 students participate in service learning, internships, apprenticeships, work-based learning here on campus, just all sorts of things.
Yeah, lots of opportunities. So that's great. First year experience. This is another program that I think is really interesting because we get a lot of first generation college students, maybe someone who's never been to college or maybe the first in their family to go to college. And so they're maybe not sure what to expect. And so it seems like there's a lot of focus and a lot of efforts on making that first year go well and to prepare that student to have a successful career here at San Juan College, and how they work on that first year kind of dictates how things will go after that.
Yes. It's a wonderful course. It really helps students be successful in college and in life. So they really treat them a lot of important foundational skills like test taking, study skills, but they also talk about, not being a victim, being a creator of your own life, but they have students do an educational plan and a financial plan, just all sorts of skills that are really important for success.
Very good. And some realistic expectations too, it sounds like to me.
Yes.
So that's important as well. Dual credit is another area that the college certainly has a great relationship with the local high schools. That's bringing in high school students to take college classes and offer them both high school credit and college credit.
Yes, and our number one objective in our 5-year strategic plan under Strategic Direction 1 is to try and make sure that students accumulate at least 9 credit hours before they graduate from high school. And as Scott mentioned, they're earning both their high school credits and college credits free of charge simultaneously. So it's a wonderful opportunity, kind of a win-win for families.
Right.
Participate. This last year we had 256 students earn at least 12 credit hours, and if they earn at least 12, they are provided with a purple cord that they can wear at graduation. And if students, we had 57 that actually completed an associate degree at the same time they completed their high school diploma, and they're provided with a really nice medallion.
Yeah, very nice. So that's a great incentive, I think, for these high school students. And you work with every school district in the county, I think, to make this possible, to get their students here for classes.
Yes, it's a wonderful relationship.
Very good, very good. Gateway courses is the other stone that we see on the graphic here. And so talk to me a bit about those.
Okay, so Gateway courses are generally courses that the majority of your students have to take in order to graduate from San Juan College or any college. So these are a lot of your general ed courses. And this year we're just focusing on 2 of them, which are our English composition and then one of our math courses that a large portion of our students have to take. And we're trying to really work on those and make sure that students are successful in those courses. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if they can complete English and math their first year, they're much more likely to graduate. So that's what we've really been working on. In the past, at San Juan College, students would have to take developmental courses, and those who did not receive college credit. Now what we do, based on national literature and data, is we place all students into a college level course, either with or without support, based on their high school GPA and maybe like what math classes they took in high school.
Right.
But we really have noticed a great increase in the number of students graduating because they're not having to start at ground zero with developmental. They just have extra support with their same instructor.
And getting these concepts, I guess, down early on their first year and then being able to build on those as they move forward.
Yes, absolutely. And
Whether it's English
we have
or math.
embedded tutors. We're doing all sorts of strategies to provide that wraparound support for students.
Right. Very true. And the final stone to ask you about is institutional gaps, and these are other students that maybe need other support, whatever that may be, but to be able to make sure whatever that may be, you have it to offer here.
Yes. So one of the our initiatives at San Juan College, we've been really fortunate to be able to write several grants to support our students in our community, and one of them was we wanted to become a Hispanic serving institution.
Right.
And that means you have to have 25% Hispanic enrollment. So in our county, we have 19%.
That's the population, the Hispanic population.
Yes, in San Juan County proper. And right now we've been able to have 23 to 24%. And there's all sorts of initiatives around that. But that's all about what we were talking about earlier, Scott, is making sure that everyone feels welcome and they belong at San Juan College, and that we're helping all of our students.
Right. And again, I think that what the 25%, as you mentioned, and the college has been, as you said, I think between 23 and 24%. So very close to meeting that threshold. But this works for other groups too, I think, as well, right? To be
Absolutely.
make sure that they have the support that they need. So
We're constantly, sorry to interrupt.
No.
We're constantly analyzing all of our different facets of our students and trying to make sure that everyone is successful and achieves their goal.
Very true. And again, you just have to look on campus and see the different resources that are here, the different centers for Hispanic students and Native American students and a veteran center and the others to know just how much resources are here to help these students, no matter who they are, succeed.
Right. And we're actually, through the approval of the Board of Trustees, we've actually are planning to acquire a system that will take all of our different systems at the college, software and technology, and develop a platform or dashboard where we will even have more data, and it will generate nudges for us to try and make sure that we continue to increase these performance metrics even more.
And I guess give you some ideas of how to do that or some suggestions on how to do that. Is that the idea?
Exactly.
Got you.
You know, it's very important. We're in the we deal hands-on with students. We will always need people, but it doesn't hurt to use the latest advances in technology to inform our decisions and our behaviors and actions.
Gotcha. And that's where things are headed.
Yes.
That's what the board has
We
agreed
all
to do.
know that with artificial intelligence and so we want to be at the cusp of that.
Right.
Or the leading edge.
Yeah, very true. Interesting. So very good. I know last time I think you were here, we talked a little bit about AI in higher education, and one of our professors was working on that and studying that and presenting, did a lot of presentations to faculty and others a little bit about how to use that positively in the classroom setting.
Yes, Jonathan Fisher, he's one
Right.
of our English professors. He did a phenomenal job. And since then, I was actually contacted. They were having a conference in Albuquerque, one of the legislators, on the topic, and I suggested him, and he served on a panel, an education panel recently, and his proposal has just been accepted as well at the American Association of Community Colleges to share.
I'm
what's
not
occurring.
surprised.
Yeah.
It was
Me either.
It was very informative for
Awesome.
sure. They're very true. Well, just a couple of minutes remaining this morning, Dr. Pendergrass, and I wanted to ask you a bit about student housing. It's something that I think is still, I consider it still a relatively new addition to San Juan College. It's, I think, been a game changer for a lot of students maybe to be able to live and go to school right here and just, jump out of bed and walk down the hill and come to class and things like that. You were telling me before we came on the air this morning that that there is a study now maybe for phase 2 for student
Yes.
housing.
We've contracted with a national consultant, and we're doing a study. That's what we did for the first phase.
Right.
And when we completed the first phase study, they told us that 89% of our students that responded to the survey indicated they were interested in pursuing housing if it was made available. The consulting company told us at the time that was the highest return rate, the highest rate they had ever seen.
Wow.
On a survey with that much interest. And we were conservative and built 150 beds, but this last fall cycle, we had over 95 on the waiting list months before students even moved into housing. So we've decided to take that next step and survey our students again and do a complete analysis to see if we need to build phase 2.
Gotcha. Very exciting. And again, I know those numbers are things that you watch as well, the occupancy rates and things like that. But it sounds like pretty much since the building opened, the rates have been where the college was expecting them to be, pretty high, if not full, 100%.
Yes, and the director of student housing does an amazing job, David DeVilliers, and he just creates a wonderful culture and supportive environment within student housing, and lots of students want to live there. They have a jam night, they have all sorts of events, and he does a great job.
Nice, very good. And when you talk to your colleagues at other colleges around the state, around the country, I mean, having housing at a community college, isn't that somewhat unique or not anymore?
It's unique, but it's growing.
I see.
I think nationally, the last statistic I recall is about 26% of all community colleges have student housing.
Got you. But it's, again, another way the college, San Juan College, is meeting the unique needs of the community, because we have these students that would drive astronomical distances to come to class, and having housing here certainly helps them be closer to class, for sure.
Yes, and I'm from this area, grew up in Aztec, and we know that housing has always been a topic of discussion in this community, just due to the shortage of them, because, you know, a small percentage of our land in this county is privately owned.
Right. A lot of other tribal land and federal land and things like that.
Right.
So
It's like 6%, or is it 9%? I'm trying to remember.
it's a single digit. You're right
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So yes, there's not a lot. So that's for sure. Very good. Well, Dr. Pendergrass, it's always a pleasure to be able to sit down and talk with you about what's going on here at San Juan College, and learn about all the successes and all the things the college does for our students. So thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you, Scott.
Appreciate it very much. That is San Juan College President Dr. Toni Pendergrass, my guest here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.